Welcome, everybody, to the 14th chapter summary. I forgot to record this during the regular class, therefore, I'm doing a separate session to record it. So we will go over the questions and please have the answers with you. So, first question, chapter 14, points to ponder. What is the strategy used in chapter 14 vis-a-vis the strategy used in chapter 13 to describe the Atma? For this, we have to go into slide 5 of the main presentation, which is on Drik Drishya Viveka, the distinction of the seer from the seen. So, chapter 13 uses Drik Drishya Viveka to illustrate what the Atma is not by negating everything that is seen. That is, anything that's an object, what is seen belongs to anatma and is therefore not the Atma. Atma is the subject, the seer, the perceiver. That is you, the subject. Chapter 14 uses the same strategy to distinguish the Atma from anything else that has gunas or attribute like color, shape, form, all those things. Atma is Nirguna Tattva, the attributeless principle. How is chapter 14 structured? For this, we have to go to slide 7. So, in the first 4 shlokas, Bhagavan introduces Atma Jnanam and he talks about creation. Remember, he says, I am the seed-giving father and I deposit it in the womb of Prakriti. So for the sake of understanding, there is the Purusha Tattvam and there is the Prakriti Tattvam. We'll soon see that in the next question. Purusha Tattvam is the father principle. Prakriti Tattvam, or Maya, is the mother principle. Then shlokas 5 to 18 cover the main topic of this chapter, which is the 3 gunas of Ahankara. It's only from Ahankara that gunas come, attributes, because Ahankara helps us navigate in this world. Ahankara is not a totally bad thing. It helps us navigate. In order to function in this world, you need identity. That's all it gives. It is the example that is classically given in Vedanta is that of an actor. So actor has an identity, but they know that once they leave the stage, they have a completely different identity. It's like that we are the self. So um, in the play or whatever, they may play the role of a poor, miserable person, but they know that this actor who's playing that role may be a millionaire, and they have no worries about money. So like that, the Sakshi Tattvam is beyond all this. But when we transact in this world, we need certain um, things to abide by. So gunas give that characteristic. So guna lakshanam, characteristics of the 3 gunas. Bandhana prakaraha, how each guna binds one to this world, mode of bondage. Lingam, indicators to find out which guna is dominant in someone. Then gatihi, post-death travel, and palam. So gatihi and palam, there's a difference. Gatihi refers to after death travel. Palam refers just to consequences for the predominance of each guna in this lifetime. In shlokas 19 and 20, which are considered the most important shlokas, talk about gunatitam, that is transcending the 3 gunas. Finally, the last 7 shlokas talk about gunatita lakshanani and sadhanani, traits of and how to become one who has transcended the 3 gunas. Gunatita means one who has transcended the 3 gunas. Coming back to the questions. In shlokas 14.3 and 14.4, Bhagavan gives the example of father and mother principles to illustrate the creation of the universe. Universe is like an analogy to children. What forms the father principle? and what forms the mother principle. So for this, we have to go to slide 15. So Purusha Tattvam is compared to the father principle because Bhagavan clearly says, Mamayo nirmahat brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarva bhutanam tatho bhavati bharata. The great Prakriti is my womb in which I place the seed. I here refers to Brahman. Thereupon the origination of all beings takes place. सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति यः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिः aham बीजपदपिता. So I am the seed-giving father in. So whatever forms are produced in all wombs, know that the great Prakriti is the womb. I am the seed-giving father. Going to the next question. So in this, the Brahman is the father principle, Maya or Prakriti is the female principle, mother principle. Fourth question, in Shloka 14.5, Bhagavan says that the three gunas of Prakriti bind the changeless self to the body. Explain using an example. For this, we have to go to slide number 19. We saw three examples. The first example is water in a pot that's placed over a fire. The water by itself is neither cold nor hot. Heat in the water is an incidental property borrowed from the fire. Heat of the water is therefore it's like the borrowed consciousness, Chidabhasa. Heat of the fire is like the original consciousness or the Atma. Water is the physical medium, which is like the body. The thermal conductivity of the water is a property. It's like guna. So like that, if another example we saw is like the moon reflecting sunlight as moonlight at night. But moon has no light of its own. And if it is a full moon, more light is reflected. If the moon is tilted, it's not directly opposite the sun, then and everything in between, then it's not reflecting fully. It's not full moon. So if it's somewhere else, then you get a crescent. So the position is like a property. So how good the reflection is. And we also saw example that of a face and a mirror. So whenever there's a face and a mirror, there's always a reflection. The face is like the original consciousness. In the previous example, sun is like the original consciousness. The moonlight is the borrowed consciousness. Sunlight is the original consciousness. But what we get is the moonlight reflected from the moon. If there's a crescent moon, we get much lesser light. Okay. So the moon is like the reflecting medium. It is like the mind. So it is like the Sukshma Shariram. What gets reflected is dependent on the quality of the Sukshma Shariram. And the third example is the reflection. So the face is like the original consciousness, the mirror is like the mind, and the reflection is like the reflected consciousness. The quality of the reflection depends on how smooth the mirror is. That is a guna, a property. Similarly, in the previous case, the guna is the position of the moon, whether it forms a crescent, full moon, all that, and also how smooth the surface is. What are the characteristics of sattva? For this, we have to go to slide number 21. Okay. Sattva, tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam sukha sanghena batnati jnana sanghena chanaga. Sattva is defectless, luminous, and without afflictions. It binds one by attachment to happiness and attachment to knowledge. So it also binds. Then, what are the characteristics of Rajas? That slide 23. So, Rajo ragatmakam viddhi Krishna sanga samutpavam tannibadnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Rajas know that to be the nature of passion, the cause of craving and attachment. It binds the embodied one by causing attachment to activity. And then finally, tamas. Tamastvajnanajam viddhi mohanam sarpadehinam pramadalasya nidrabhi tannibatnati bharata. Know that tamas to be born out of ignorance, deluding all embodied beings. It binds by causing negligence, indolence, and excess sleep. Okay. Then, eighth question. What is the difference between gatihi and palam? Gatihi is destiny, and palam means fruit. So, what is the difference? Gatihi refers to what happens after death, when a guna is predominant. So, when a person is dying with a predominant guna, then their destiny after death is different, depending on the guna. Palam refers to the fruits in this lifetime when a guna is dominant. So, both are covered. What are the destinies when a person dies when A, sattva is predominant, B, rajas is predominant, and C, tamas is predominant? So for this, we have to go to slides 36 and 38. So when an embodied being dies when sattva is predominant, they attain the blemishless pure worlds of the knowers of the Supreme. Yada sattve pravritte tu pralayam yati dehabrit tadottama vidam lokan amalan pratipadyate. They attain the worlds of the where amalan, those who are blemishless go. And so all these lokas are higher than the Bhuloka, earth. So they go to these worlds. Then Rajasi pralayam gatva karmasangishu jayate tathas pralinas tamasi mudayonishu jayate. Meeting with death and Rajas dominance, they are born amongst those attached to action. Where are they born? Where is activity happening? Bhuloka, Manushaloka. So they are born again in Manushaloka. When one dies in tamas dominance, they are born in the wombs of deluded beings as a plant, an animal in this world, or in one of the lower worlds, Athala, Vithala, Suthala, Talathala, Mahathala, Rasathala, Pathala, one of these worlds. And the summary is, Urdhvam gachanti sattvastaha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaganya guna vrittistaha adho gachanti tamasaha. Those who are abiding in sattva go upward to higher worlds. The rajasic people, they stay where they are. That is in Bhuloka. In those who are abiding in tamas, functions of the lowest guna, which is tamas, they go down further to the others, the worlds, or even in this world, they go down to lower life forms. Then, moving on, what are the two most important shlokas in chapter 14? So the two most important shlokas, as I said before, are shloka 19 and shloka 20, which are Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drashtanupashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhi gacchati. When the seer perceives the doer to be none other than the gunas and knows the self to be beyond the gunas, then the person attains fine nature. This is called a Mahavakyam. Great equation. Then 20th. Gune etanati tyatrin dehi deha samutpavan janma mrityu jara dukkair vimukto mritam ashnute. Having gone beyond these three gunas, which are the cause of rebirth, A person, that is a Dehi, is freed of birth, death, decay, and sorrow, and attains immortality. These are the two most important shlokas in this chapter. So, having gone beyond the three gunas, which are the cause of free birth, a person is freed of birth, death, decay, and sorrow, and attains immortality. And 19th, which I didn't put up, when the seer perceives the doer to be none other than the gunas and knows the self to be beyond the gunas, then the person attains my nature. Who is a gunatitaha? A gunatitaha is one who has transcended the three gunas. And why should one become a gunatitaha? It's given in slide 45 and in also shloka 14.20. So two shlokas we just now saw. So what's the reason to transcend it? Why should one transcend the three gunas? Because ahankara cannot escape the gunas. When you associate with ahankara, whatever be the type of guna you have, bondage cannot be avoided. Even with sattva, we saw sattvic people, they want to learn. Their bondage is attachment to learning and attachment to calm. Otherwise, they get irritated. The only solution to suffering is to escape the three gunas, become a gunatitaha. And how to transcend the gunas? Stop identifying with ahankara, start identifying with sakshi. Ahankara is just used to play the part as a drama player, the actor in the stage. But once you really have to know at the end of the day, you know that you're just the actor. Like that, you have to know that you're the sakshi tattva, or the witness consciousness. The other point is in 14.20. Having gone beyond the three gunas, which are the cause of rebirth, person is freed of birth, death, decay, and sorrow, and attains immortality. So those are the reasons to become a gunatita. So that concludes the points to ponder in this chapter.